which was replacing the water main and rebuilding the road in that neighborhood, is being completed now. The manhole lining and rehabilitation of 50 manholes. During last year, we installed 19 new hydrants with our in-house team, work teams. So we are doing that with our in-house manpower as we're able to. We also did a sewer replacement in F Street, again with in-house work. And we're, as you know, working on sewer and water main replacement in 10th Avenue. Well, we did for 10th Avenue North between A and B Street, which was actually an emergency case where the sewer collapsed and we had people, without sewer service. This just shows you some of those pictures. The one on the left is actually the installation at Well 16. The one on the right is the repaving of Detroit Avenue, which was done by the contractor after they had installed the water main, the raw water main in Detroit Avenue. So it turned out as a very nice repavement project as well in that small area. This is 14th, 15th, and Crestwood, where we replaced the water main, rebuilt the road, the sidewalks, and the curbing, and is an example of the kind of improvement of a neighborhood that can occur where the city is, moves forward with that type of project. And that really completes the report, unless you have other questions, and then I'll be happy to move into the next venture if you're ready.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I like these completed project pictures. I actually know a couple people live up on those streets. When we talk about 10% water waste, is it possible to have 0% water waste? Is that ever achievable? Tough.
Vice Mayor, it's really not. It's not practical to have zero water waste in a water distribution system, but it's certainly achievable to have lower percentages. I think you would find. I haven't looked at the best numbers, but I would say probably the best goal would be in the 5 to 7% range, and 10% is sort of at the limit where they say if it's above that, you've got a problem. We're sort of at the margin where we're getting close to that. We have some neighboring municipalities that have 50% loss.
Wow.
So
the reason I ask is because I did some real quick math. It seems to me if we're using 55 gallons per.
Yeah, 95 gallons. Yeah.
Or 95?
Yeah.
Figure 100.
Or 100. So you're looking at 10%. So you're looking at about a $120 a year savings on your water bill if we get down to 0.
Yes, absolutely. But
which is a significant number.
Chair Marissa.
Before we move on, Larry, can you just remind us, I know our water rates went up this last year and our sewer rates have gone up this last year. Can you just remind us why that happened?
Yes, Commissioner, the water rates went up because of, they're largely driven because of the capital projects, basically to make improvements in the infrastructure of the kinds of projects that we just discussed here. We had Burton do that analysis, looking at all the different capital projects that were needed over the next 5 years or so, and then projecting what the rate increase needed to be to do that. The sewer increase was really due to the increase in the capital projects by the East Central Regional wastewater plant, and they pass along their charges to the city, and that was basically a 45% increase in their rates, which then created the requirement for us to increase ours only. Well, we only increased it like 8%. So we're trying to do what we can, but that is a very significant difference.
And that was added on all 5 of the municipalities that are
Yes, it
fielding,
was,
you know.
yes. All of them are having to adjust their budgets accordingly.
Okay. Right. Sorry. Did you have Commissioner?
Yeah, going back to Commissioner Amoroso's query about the rates. So the water side went up because of essentially not just these improvements you showed here tonight, but because of the RO plant itself. Is that correct? That's the capital cost for the RO plant. Because we kind of pushed those rate increases off.
Yeah, Commissioner, I wouldn't say that it was due to the RO plant, although, you know, the debt service on the RO plant is certainly one of our costs
Right.
incorporated in that, but I
Right.
think that was in the existing rates. I think
But it also costs
is
more to
that,
produce that water too.
yes, to some extent it does increase the water cost from an operating standpoint, but the main reason for the 5% increase was just the need to do additional you know, water distribution projects, which have been basically delayed or non-existent for many, many years. And so it's basically to provide larger sized water mains and fire hydrants in other areas of the city that need it, as well as to start addressing this these 2-inch water lines that we've discussed.
Okay, thanks.
Commissioner McBoyd?
Thinking about the rate increase for the sewer that was passed up to us and to other communities from the ECR, and then thinking about that ratio that you mentioned, that we're at about 1, that our sewer is running about equal to our pumped water, clean water, potable water. Have you folks done any calculations on sort of a return on investment? If we could be pumping 75% of what we're doing, would that pay for sealing up more of our pipes so that we're not pumping stormwater and paying for that being treated?
We can, I mean, I think
I
just
have
in
no
a
idea.
general way, it definitely makes sense for us to do that, but I haven't done the calculation, so as part of the next budget cycle, we will definitely do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'd be the kind of thing that, you know, you could ask Siemens, would they think it was worthwhile, or that same logic? Obviously, it's better if you can seal up your pipes, but it'd be interesting to know whether you could actually.
Yeah, no, we can definitely do those calculations and give you that indication as part of the analysis of the capital project.
Commissioner Zerbe?
Thank you, Mayor. Last question for me. Obviously, water is more crucial than fixing up our roads, so we really don't have any choice when we have issues with the water system. We need to fix them. You can't let them go so far that they become a constant emergency. So I applaud you for using the discretion you have to try to keep things reasonable over the last couple of years. So that's the thing, is you have to make a decision on what has to get done versus us, you know, driving down the road, a couple of potholes here and there and some of those things, some flooding. But I think this department here provides us with clean, healthy water every single day. You turn on your faucets, and this is a really critical department here that we have, and a lot of good things are done every single day, 24/7 all year long. So I appreciate this information.
I appreciate the work that your staff always does too. One thing to keep in mind, I'm sorry, Vice Mayor?
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, one thing to keep in mind is that, you know, we found during recent conversations over the last several months in dealing with our infrastructure needs and whatnot, there are issues, those 2-inch pipes that you were talking about and whatnot, and I know several of the neighborhoods in the community still have issues with water quality, water pressure, water, whatever else. I think it's important for the public to know that, you know, we have to be smart when we make investments like we did in RO, that we address the distribution part of it as well. And we have this great water and these really, really old pipes that are still pumping in junky water to certain sections of town. You do your best. I know you flush them and you keep it clean and the quality is safe and good, but it's still a major issue. And it's such a challenge that we have, how to go backwards now and try to fix problems that, you know, we should have updated the whole system at the same time, the distribution and the quality of water at the same point, because what's the sense of having the quality of water if you can't get it through your pipe? So I applaud you for all the efforts you've done to try to keep the standards so high as you always do. But we really have to focus on this distribution system and other ways of paying for it and getting it done, because it needs to be done. So maybe in the new year, folks, we could sort of look at some new ways to address some of these issues, because they have to be taken care of. They're not getting any better. Just like the streets, these pipes aren't going to fix themselves. Mains are going to break, and we have to have plans for them. So we've got some tough work ahead, but we'll do it together. Vice Mayor?
Yes, and I think it's also worthy of noting that in spite of these recent increases and the need for these increases based on what we just talked about, the upgrades and the capital improvements, our rates are still well within the national average, well below the national average, I guess. We're very competitive. In fact, we're in much better shape. Could you expound on that just a little bit?
You know, Vice Mayor, is that, you know, one of the things that we ask Burton to do every year is to evaluate our rates in relationship to the rates of surrounding communities. And we routinely are in, you know, pretty much in the middle of the pack of those water rates. Is, you know, we're a little bit higher than the average, but basically in the middle of the pack with other municipalities in the area. And that's what we're striving to do at the same time. So,
isn't it true that the national average, the trend is about 8% a year increase?
Yeah, we're well below
right.
those kinds of rates as far as increases,
right.
And we're, you know, the city manager is definitely, you know, given me instructions as far as, you know, our efforts are to try to find efficiencies and to keep the percentage increase down to as reasonable a level as we can while we're still dealing with some of these issues. And I would just say is we have Monica Shaner here. Monica is the utility engineer for us and has done a lot of the capital project work and that you're seeing come to fruition here. So we definitely appreciate her as well as all the rest of the staff that I'm very fortunate to have in water utility.
And don't forget too, one thing too, Commissioner, Vice Mayor, is that back in the meetings of 2000, I want to say 8 or 9 or 10, Burton Associates comes in every year and gives us those rates, gives us those numbers. We chose as a commission, well, I wasn't here back then, but chose as a commission to keep the rates the same, flat, and then increase them in years 2012, 2013, 2014, to whatever it may be. So we're seeing those rate increases that were already planned 5 or 6 years ago, which still being at the rate that we are, being the center of the pack and not being that high is still great work by our staff. So again, thank you. I want to take a quick break, Larry, while you get set up.